Welcome to Backpage Blues. I'm joined by Charlie the Hurricane Skillen from the Mail Online. Charlie, I don't really want to do this, but I'm going to have to. The first place to start and the obvious place to start is the post-mortem of Arsenal.
Do we have to?
I think we do. The only highlight of my day was bumping into you in the stadium. That was as good as it got.
Yeah.
No good, was it?
No, not at all. Not at all. In fact, I can't remember such an embarrassing display against a huge rival. In terms,
I can.
What?
5-3 Tottenham New Year's Day 2015.
Yeah, I mean that was gutting. Obviously, that was champagne.
But we went on to win the league and the cup.
We did, and also at least there was a little bit of effort in that performance and a little bit of drive, and we scored 3 goals. And Tottenham were just on absolute fire that day, as much as it pains me to say. This game, Chelsea they're absolute architects of their own downfall. I mean, I think it's getting to the point where, not in terms of player for player, but in terms of a unit and how they're organised and how they move about and make sure everyone's marking everyone, I honestly think we've got almost the worst defence in the Premier League.
Yeah, I think that there's definitely something in that. I think if you look at the way that our defence lines up and the way that it caters for problem players on the opposition, I think we're definitely in the bottom 5.
Certainly. I mean, on the basis of this season, certainly, and obviously some of the performances last season. But it's almost worse than last season in terms of defensive performances because we're making so many basic errors.
Oh, no, the defensive performances, at Arsenal, let's use that as the case study, was definitely worse than a lot of what I saw last year. There were some moments when what was going on in the back line... Yeah, well, what was going on in the back line, it reminded me, and it was reminiscent of what children get up to in a playground. Yeah. You know, when kids play football, when the ball's there and the ball sort of goes over there and some people run towards it and other people run away from it and nobody really knows what to do. And some kids, they kind of don't really want the ball. They're a bit scared of it.
I actually said this to my old man after the 3rd goal. It was like watching kids because the ball was in the air and Cahill was doing that thing where he sort of spin around and go like, oh, where's the ball?
Yeah, like a dog. Like what a dog does when a balloon's hovering.
Exactly. I mean, it was just pathetic. The amount of individual errors, the complete lack of cohesion. I mean, it's an absolute farce that we've got to this point, and we still cannot even set an offside trap without John Terry.
No,
we can't.
No, we certainly can't set an offside trap. I'm not sure David Luiz quite understands what the point is.
We can't mark a set piece. We can't.
No.
We can't. We don't even have composure on the ball. I mean, Cahill just for the 2nd game in a row got absolutely robbed.
Yeah, I would say 3rd game in a row.
Yeah, I mean, quite possibly. I mean, Courtois has got no ability to organise that back line whatsoever. Cahill's not stepping up as a senior pro.
Yeah, so it's a shocker. How bad was that moment? I didn't actually notice this when I was in the stadium, but I've seen it subsequently. That moment where Gary Cahill is urging Courtois to come and collect the ball. Have you seen it on the telly? Yeah. Urging Courtois to come out and collect the ball. Courtois doesn't. He doesn't want to leave his line because it's on his right foot. Because it's on his right foot, I don't think he wants to take charge. He could have just picked it up, but take charge. Cahill then ends up having to do this rushed hoof clearance. Yeah. And me included, in the stand, we're very much like, Cahill, what are you playing at?
But it's not.
But Courtois has to take some ownership of what's going on inside his own box.
Courtois just cannot command his area whatsoever. He's not coming out and claiming things. He's going to ground when he shouldn't. Yes, he pulls off some great shots. But look, he's had a shocking season. He didn't have a good season last season. And I think he does enough talking off the pitch to play better on it.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. I think some of what we're saying here may have filtered through to the players at half-time. Apparently Antonio Conte...
yeah, he's a big fan of Backpage Blues.
I just mean in terms of the way that we are going for the players at the moment. I think that he did a similar thing at half-time.
Yeah, Conte, as you'd expect, tore an absolute strip off him at half-time. We were 3-0 down. I mean, most of the away end were already queuing up for a beer by the time the 3rd goal went in. But... I think Cahill was as well, actually.
Yeah. He had a few before the game.
Yeah. I saw him on Upper Street, actually. Good laugh. No, I mean, Conte tore an absolute strip off them at half-time. I mean, you saw the change. I mean, I don't know why we didn't change at half-time. 3-0 down at the Emirates. Like, what else can possibly go wrong?
You could go 5-0 down. I think that would have been more...
Yeah, of course. But, I mean, you've still got to change, haven't you? Like, it's... Again, with Liverpool, it was like the Liverpool game in the second half. It's not like we were... constantly knocking on the door. Oh, Costa's hit the post. Oh, we've got a corner. Like, I can't remember a single decent attack we had. In fact, it took until Batshuayi late on for us even to have a shot on target. So it's not like we were constantly knocking at the door. So
change it.
So change it, exactly. But he did change it. He changed the personality. He took Fabregas off for Alonso and he went 3-5-2. And Oh yeah, 3 at the back certainly, and I think you'll see more of that. We know it's his preferred formation. It's the first time we've seen it with Chelsea so far.
But is anything going to change with the personnel more long term? People like Cahill, people like Ivanovic.
Yes, it is basically. I mean,
I think that's good news.
I think that's the good news that everyone kind of wants to hear. We reported at the weekend that Cahill and Ivanovic will be phased out. I think Conte's just had enough, much as most of the fans have, of their displays basically. So I think they'll be the first 2 you'll see phased out. In fact, I don't. According to what we're hearing anyway, David Luiz, in terms of a centre half anyway, won't be that far behind them. I mean,
so he'll be pushed up into midfield to allow Terry and Zuma to reform.
Possibly. We've got Zuma coming back. We've got John Terry coming back. Those are plus points. But I still, Conte still wants reinforcements in January.
Okay. In
his back line, from what we're hearing, he's still up for having a couple of centre halves and a full back.
I'm really up for Nuno. Anybody in particular? Are we keeping an eye on anybody?
Well, Chelsea for a long time have been scouting the best homegrown English defenders, and the ones that particularly got our eye on is Michael Keane from Burnley, and Ben Gibson from Middlesbrough.
Okay.
Now, so we're looking at that sort of player. I appreciate that it's not the Bonucci, it's not the Koulibaly, the ones we were talking about in the summer. Those were Conte's first choices. We know that, but we didn't get them. Chelsea were not really in the market for Bonucci. Didn't pay enough for Koulibaly. Now, whether you think that's right or wrong, personally, I didn't want us to pay 60 million for Koulibaly because I think at some point you've got to...
Yeah, you've got to draw a line.
You've got to draw a line.
I think the sad thing, though, is that we didn't, last year, make sure that the John Stones one got over the line.
Oh, yeah.
He's gone to Man City now, 50 million quid, playing in a great team, looking like a good player.
Exactly. I mean, look, that for me, there wasn't much excuse for that deal not to happen. He put in a transfer request at Everton.
For the move to Chelsea?
For the move to Chelsea, exactly. So, I mean, and he didn't cover himself in glory last season, didn't cover himself in glory in the Euros.
Well, Martinez dropped him, but I think that says more about Martinez than it does anybody else. But.
Yeah, I think Martinez managed him very, very poorly. I mean, he is a fantastically talented player, but those talented players, especially in defence, they need honing. Well, every talented young player needs honing.
They're particularly at the back,
you can't just let them run and play like they're playing in the playground. They're playing in the Premier League.
Yeah.
They're playing in the Champions League. And you've seen immediately Guardiola's got hold of him, and this is like not a defensive manager in the slightest, but he's honing his game. He's not doing Cruyff turns in his own box, which was literally what he was doing for Everton last season. Yeah. And Martinez is let him play, but it's completely the wrong thing to do. Yeah. I think it would have been fascinating to see him
alongside Terry, under Mourinho.
Exactly. But look, it's pointless talking about. We're a long way off that now. It's going to be a case of getting those young English players in. The Chelsea board have made it perfectly clear through their actions that they're not willing to spend the absolute top money.
Okay. So it's going to be players like Michael Keane rather than players like Koulibaly.
I think if those players are out there, then the money will be spent. But it's what they're not going to do is enter the bidding war for players that they don't see at that top.
Do you know what else is a shame? Didn't Mustafi have a good game for Arsenal?
Yeah, he did. That
was a player that we
Mustafi and Koscielny were both excellent, by the way.
Yeah, of course they were. But they didn't have that much to deal with. I thought Costa was one of the few players who actually impressed for Chelsea.
I'd agree with that.
But he was certainly the only one who should have got any sleep that night. Everybody else should have been having nightmares. Costa tried hard.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, I think Costa always tries hard. That's his game. And look, everyone's speaking about the defending, and rightly so, and that's what the focus has been on. And that's where Conte will look to change it as soon as possible. But it also should be said, we didn't create anything.
No.
We didn't create anything going forward. Hazard had one of his completely anonymous games. Yeah. Willian has been really, really poor.
Really poor, hasn't he?
I saw...
You've got to get Victor Moses on, I think.
I mean, yeah, I agree that Victor Moses has played well, but I mean, me and you said it in the League Cup against Leicester. It's like, Victor Moses is not going to win you the league.
Victor Moses isn't going to win you the league, but we're not trying to win the league. We're trying to finish in the top four.
No, I don't think he finishes you in the top four.
Well, he's more likely to get you there than Willian on current form.
On current form, no, I agree. It should also be said that Willian's mother is really, really not very well at the minute. He keeps posting on Instagram about it.
Right.
So he's got other things on his mind.
I fully understand that. But
personally, I think the right thing to do would be give him a break because he's not playing well. I don't
go back to Brazil, sort things out.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. But he's not producing enough, And to be fair, I think although as well as he played last season, I think if you take the Chelsea team as a whole, I think, apart from the defence, I think Matic would be the first one I'd look to replace, and I think Willian will be next.
Yes, I think I agree with you. I agree. Let me know who you agree with here. I suppose that brings us nicely onto our Q&A. So our first question comes in, they all came in via Twitter today. So if you ever want to get a question, just look out for the tweet and reply. And the first one that came in was from Chad, Chelsea Chadder. I really do like your account if you actually happen to watch this. Do you know what we should do actually? I shouldn't, I'm not going to mention it to any of the people whose questions we answer. Let's see. Do you know what? We're going to give you our answer and then tweet us to see if you actually got it. Chad wants to know, what does Matic have to do to be left out of the side?
Oh, I don't know. I'd love to find out because I hope he does it. I mean, he's been terrible. I mean, I can't think of a single good thing he's done this season. In fact,
an assist for Costa against Liverpool.
That was good. That was good.
I'm just trying to think. I mean, it's not enough, is it? But
no, it's not, and it's not really what he's in the side to do. Our mate Callum actually made a very good point on him last season, which is that he's actually not played well since that incident against Burnley.
Yeah, I think that's Callum. I think Callum makes some really, really good salient points when it comes to football. But I think that's Callum trying to be quite generous to Matic and find a reason for his terrible form. I think he's looking.
It's not a it's more a kind of.
No, but it's more. It's finding an excuse for Matic. Oh, he's not playing well because he thought he was going to break his leg against Burnley, and therefore we should all feel slightly sympathetic towards him. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He didn't break his leg. He actually got sent off that day.
Yeah, he did.
He actually got himself sent off that day.
He did. But look, Matic has been one of the worst players in Chelsea's team for 18 months. I find there's literally no reason to play him. I mean, I remember you made the point last week that a midfield of Oscar and Fabregas and Conte is a bit short and a bit light. Well,
it's lightweight, but it's good.
It is good, and Matic is not offering any of the things that you want Matic to do.
And there's this myth. I did a video with Jack Davis. Yesterday, and I made this point in that video where I just said there seems to be this myth that surrounds Oscar. And correct me if you disagree. If I'm wrong here, let me know. But people seem to see Oscar in a very similar way to what they see Hazard or Fabregas in terms of they think that he's a nubile, nippy winger or just not quite the central midfield tough guy that I think he is.
Yeah.
Oscar's hard. Oscar's really good at tackling. Oscar's really good at the donkey work.
In fact,
he isn't a lightweight midfielder. No. He's a solid big.
No. Yeah, he's not particularly big, but he's very strong. And
he's strong. He's excellent at tackling. Excellent.
In fact, I agree with all that. In fact, I think if there's one aspect of his game that could be improved, it's actually attacking.
Yes, he doesn't score enough goals when he was playing. When he was playing at number 10, he definitely didn't score enough goals.
And sometimes I don't think he contributes to the attacking play as much as he could. But in terms of tackling and in terms of passing around midfield, I agree. I think he's, apart from the Liverpool game when no one played well, I think he's actually had a pretty good season.
I think he's
been one of the better players anyway.
Certainly.
So I think
we really missed him. We really missed him.
It was a little bit harsh for him to miss out against Arsenal, I think.
But yeah, I completely agree. But I do think there's this myth that surrounds him that he is in the same. His name is often mentioned as Hazard and Willian and Fabregas, and he isn't that sort of player.
No, he isn't.
He's solid.
He isn't. I mean, I do think he's got massive consistency issues and has since he's been a Chelsea player. He'll go through very good spells and then spells when he's completely anonymous.
True.
And so look, I don't think he is the perfect player for Chelsea, but certainly I think he's one of our better players at the minute, and certainly should be playing ahead of Matic.
Right, so our next question comes in from Conte-holic. Now, this is a Twitter account that I really like. I generally agree with everything he says.
Okay.
And even when I don't agree with him, I like the way he phrases it. It's good. But I'm not even going to tell him that this has gone live. So, if you're watching this, if you actually watch to see if we answer your question, will you reply to us your favourite team? The question that Conte-holic has asked is, what is your starting 11 for Hull?
Oh, that's a hell of a question. Well, I mean, it all depends. If Terry's fit, Terry starts, certainly.
Okay. Let's go with Terry being fit.
Okay, fine.
Let's go best case scenario.
Okay, I would say I'd love to drop Courtois, but I can't really see it. I can't really see it.
No.
Fine. And Begovic was absolutely woeful.
Yeah. No, Courtois in goal. There's no doubt about that.
Courtois, Azpilicueta, Luiz, Terry, Alonso.
I like it. So no Ivanovic, no Cahill.
They've got to get out. They've got to get out the firing line.
I agree.
There's too much pressure on them at the minute. Everyone's teams are setting up, looking to that right hand side to make a mistake. So they've got to get out the firing line for the minute, certainly.
So midfield, come on. It's biding for time.
Kante, Fabregas, Oscar, Willian, Hazard, Costa.
I disagree.
Go on.
I agree on everything except for Willian. I'd go Moses.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I'd go Moses. But apart from that, I think it's a good team. It's the one I think it could beat Hull.
I think it's fair enough.
If you're watching Mourinhoholic, let us know yours via Twitter. And our next question comes in from El Aracho. Thank you for your question. He wants you to explain your Hurricane nickname.
I can't. You're the only one that can explain that. You gave it to me a long time ago now. I've been called the Hurricane for a long, long time.
It's because he's a nutter. How can you not realise? It's obvious, isn't it? He's a loose cannon. He's a maniac. Look at him.
I used to actually really dislike that nickname.
Look at him. He's a complete nutter. That's why.
But I actually said, a long time ago, I actually sort of embraced it, and it's quite nice.
No, he's a maniac.
There's a lot of worse nicknames I've been called. So.
And our last question comes in from dear Jack Davis, who I'm sure you all know. Jack asked me to ask you,
go on.
What's going on with Christensen? Can he not come back? We've got this big issue. We're talking about signing players from Middlesbrough. Can we not get Christensen, who's played in the Champions League?
We can. I mean, look, this is a 2-year loan deal.
But does it have to be? Is it not like, if I rented out a flat, let's pretend I had a flat and then I rented it out.
Yeah.
If I rented out a flat, someone was living in it, but it's mine,
and
I signed them up for a year in there, but then my mum kicked me out, and then I wanted to move in that flat, I can do that. It's breaking the rules, but you're just like, no, it's my flat, off you go. This is the same situation.
A wonderful metaphor.
Thank you.
There is always a way around these things. Yes, it's a 2-year loan deal. Like you say, it's Chelsea player. There is always a way around these things.
Yeah,
however, there is no desire to do that from either side. From any three parties. It's not that. It's look. Everything we're hearing is that Christensen will be part of the first team squad next year. Obviously, we hope that's true. Borussia Mönchengladbach are desperate to sign him, but he's playing every week at the minute. I mean, I'm sure he'd play every week in Chelsea's team at the minute, but it's not the same. But he'll stay at Borussia Mönchengladbach for the rest of the season, and the plan is for him to join up with Chelsea for the start of next season.
Brilliant, these. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click the subscribe button and comment below. Let us know what your thoughts are. Go on, you Blues.
Can't Chelsea.
Oh. Welcome to the Chelsea Fans Channel. After that horrific weekend, it's time to go through and find out the 5 things that we learned from this week's action.